People and migration. Till now we have discussed about the people and the settlements. Let us move on to the people and migrations. What are the factors that are leading them towards migration? How is the migration trends in our country? Whether they are migrating within the country or whether they are going out of the country. What factors force them to move towards the migration factors? Let us analyze them one by one. Let us see here now we have an example called Ramaya. Mr. Ramaya is a teacher who was born and brought up in a village at a place called Mogalidori, and then he moved on to city of Hyderabad for his job, his studies and various reasons. Later he got a government job in the other place. So he started to move on from one place to another place. These are factors which led him to get migrated. Though he got the job, he was moving on from one place to another place. This led to his migration. Like that, we don't have only doctors who are migrating. We have teachers, we have the lawyers, we have many other people, artists, artisans, many people moving from one place to another place in search of their better opportunities in case of various other reasons. Now let us see here, how can we say that people are migrated? Like what are the conditions that made them to migrate, or how can we come to the conclusion that they are migrated? See here, what is the measure and classify that how we can say they are migrated is, first let us know their birthplace, then the present place. If the birthplace and the present place are different, obviously they got migrated. Generally birthplace will be one and the birthplace, like the present place is different from the birthplace, we can come to the conclusion that this man has got migrated to one issue to the other one. In 2001 census, we got 307 million people migrating in India. 307 million people getting migrated is not an easy thing or like a small issue. It has to be addressed seriously. What are the reasons behind these people getting migrated from one place to another place? Let us see in the parts of male and female migrations. Let us see here, the females, those who got migrated of these 307, when they were asked questions like what are the reasons that made you to get migrated, the major reason what the females have put forward is that the marriage is a major reason for them to take towards the migration step, because they got married to a person who is in another village or another place or another city or in other countries, which made them to get migrated to that place. And coming to the males, we have various issues here because they are the responsible people of the families to be taken care. So see here, the employment opportunities have forced them to move on from one place to another place. At the same time, the better opportunity for their business or the employment opportunity, dissatisfaction in the present jobs. At the same time, when it comes to business loss, when they lost their business in the particular village or somewhere, to establish a new one which is happening to them, and they don't want to move on with the same old brand and all. So they want to establish something new and break from the old one. So they moved on to the other places. At the same time, the family feuds to take care of their families, to get a better income for their families. These all factors led the male people to move on from one place to another place. So we have the issues different from females and the males. It does not mean that females does not get migrated because of getting better opportunities of jobs or like any other opportunities in their careers for study purpose or something else. It is only thing is majority of the males migrate because of these reasons and majority of the females get migrated because of the marriage reasons. But they also get migrated, females also get migrated because of education. Nowadays many people are moving towards Hyderabad to get better study and then to get better jobs and all these things. Nowadays there is no much variation between the males and the females. Even females are taking care of their families and giving a helping hand to their families to lead to the better economic standards. So it cannot be addressed only on the issues of males and females. In general trend, what is the reasons which are going behind to get the people to get transformed or move from one place to another place is, these are the basic reasons what led them to move on from one place to another place. The rural to urban migration. If you look at the map carefully, you can understand that there are many interstate migrations which are happening for us. Like what are the basic factors we have analyzed for them? Now let us see in detail what are the factors that led from rural to urban migration. One major thing what is happening is the employment opportunities. The people move on from rural areas to urban areas in search of jobs, especially the better kind of jobs, so that they can lead a better opportunity for them. They can get their talented to be improved and they can shift from basic necessities to the betterment or development of the things, and they can plan for the better things for the family to meet their requirements and all these things. And these people get, once they enter into the cities, they don't get a proper job, then immediately they are forced or they are accustomed to take some odd jobs like in the unorganized sectors. That is the reason why most of the Indians, of 92% of them, are staying in the unorganized unemployment opportunity sectors, or like where there is no proper system of rules and regulations or payment scales and all these things, where they were forced to work in that because of the situational demand, because they already left their village, they came to cities. They have to do something to make their families who are in the village to get survival. When they come to the families, I remember the point called remittances. The remittances is nothing but the income what we are sending back from cities to the villages. Most of the village families are dependent on the children who are settled in the cities or who moved to cities to a better job opportunities. They will be waiting for the child to deposit the money or something else for them to get the security of their tenure or like daily needs and all these things. So the remittances also play a vital role, and the family bonds or like family loans, whichever has to be cleared and all. The people those are living in the cities, so it makes them to work very hard in the unorganized sectors to reach the requirements which to be fulfilled in their villages or for their families. So migration is not a pleasure for anyone. Migration is a force for survival existence for many people in our Indian villages. Seasonal and the temporary migrations. What is the meaning of the word seasonal and temporary migrations? During a particular season, a particular group of people migrate from one place to another places is called seasonal migration. Temporary migration means it's a period of like for 1 month, 15 days or for 6 months. When they migrate temporarily, not for a long period of time, it is called temporary migrations. During a particular season, if they migrate, it is called seasonal migration. Of a particular span, if they migrate, it is called temporary migration. Both are almost the same sometimes. Sometimes you can use the words as simultaneously. But coming to the point here, we have an example in Maharashtra where the people of nearly 6,50,000 people migrate from western part of Maharashtra to central part of Maharashtra. Along with them, the people, the children also move on, because parents, when they are moving, obviously children also will be taken care for them. With 6.5 lakh parents, 2 lakh children also move on from along with the parents and move to help their parents to do their seasonal work in the migrated fields. When the 6.5 lakh people are migrating, where do they stay? Where do they have the accommodation there? They have to stay in a small conical huts or kopis. These huts are not well organized. They are kept in an empty land place where these people have to go and put their huts with the bamboo sticks and all these things. So these people, when they are staying here, they have to see that how they are going to stay here. When it comes to 200, 500 families staying together in a particular place, and when the buffaloes and all these things are tied there, you can understand the condition, like what miserable conditions they are facing when they move on from one place to another place. The same we have discussed in the cities. They are staying in the slum areas or in the dwelled areas or in the jaggi jopis and all these things. At the same time, when it comes to here, they have to do that because they need them to get survived better than that. Otherwise they cannot do any other works. Then what do these people do? They get up in the early morning. Parents, both of them, men and women, go there, cut the sugarcane fields, then remove the leaves and all these things and throw them outside. The children, those are there, 2 lakh children. These people help their families to gather them, pile them, and then tie them to the bullock cart roots and all, and then they carry it to the sugarcane factories. They stand in queue for hours, then they get that approval there, then they give back and walk miles of kilometers back to their these kopis or huts. This is the process they do during the sugarcane season in the west of the Maharashtra region. So this is the process what they do here. This is an example what is happening in Maharashtra region. At the same, we have the example in the rural seasons. Like when it is happening, the rural people move on to other places, like to in search of work in plantations, brick kilns, then in the quarries, construction sites. Other than this, they are not only migrating for one purpose, they are migrating for various other jobs, not only for the sugarcane work, various other things. Let us see, in Bengal we have 5 lakh people migrating from one place to Bardhaman district, where they need to get in the rice workshops or in the rice mills and all these things. We have another example, like in Kerala we have 50,000 women every time migrating to the fish processing industries and all these things. So we have various issues which are addressing here. This is only one factor which is binding them is the survival for them to get a better thing to survive. The basic necessity of migration is to survive. The National Commission of Rural Migration of Labor has in 1990s came to the clear view that what is the basic reason for the people of so many categories or lakhs of people getting migrated from one place to another place. The basic reason is the lack of the regional disparities in development. The regional disparities in development led the people to move on to one place to another place. Where there is no development, they are forced to move to the regions where there is a chance of development for them as well as for the region. Once you get the opportunity there, people will tend to get migrated towards the places where you are getting the better opportunities. This is the view expressed by the National Commission of Rural Mission in the labor report of 1990s. So we got this view outside. So now we have to, our governments or anybody has to plan for regional balanced development, so that you get the balanced development and migration do not tend so much from one place to another place. If you see the graph, you can understand the situation, like how much percentage of people are migrating for because of various reasons of jobs and all these things. What happens when people migrate? What are the consequences of the people when they get migrated? When they get migrated from one place to another place, most of the time families does not completely get migrated. So only the father gets migrated. The elder girl in the family has to look after the care of the siblings, and at the same time they depend on the incomes what they are getting. So when the income is like this, the children may not get the proper education, and once they are getting migrated completely to the family, father and mother has to work. Sometimes children are forced to do the child labor. The situations are like this, that when they move on from one place to another place, you may get the change in the water, the food, which may leads to stress for the children and as well as the people those are working there, which may lead to get so many health issues for them. These all are the factors which are affecting when the people are migrating from one place to another place. And not only this, we have the other concept of migration, that is called international migration. The international migration, earlier we used to have the migration of the professionals of IT or the doctors, lawyers who are experts in all. In 1950s, we used to have the migration of only 10,000 people to the countries like UK, USA and Canada. But now the latest trend of the recent times, we have seen like every year we have 60,000 people getting migrated from our country to Japan, Norway and the other places where they are paid in a high level. All the technocrats or the IT professionals have moved on to one place to another place. This is called international migration. Not only the highly professional or highly skilled people are moving to one place to another place, the semi-skilled and unskilled labor also taken care in the other places in the abroad. Like we have the people moving from Andhra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and the other regions, moving to the countries like UAE, UK, and all the semi-skilled people are moving on towards the other places, because there we are getting the unskilled and semi-skilled workers, like people working in the oil industries, oil and exporting industries, packing of the barrels and all these things. So people tend to get migrated to these countries also nowadays. This also has been increased, like every year we are getting some 2 lakhs to 3 lakh people getting migrated from Andhra region or from the South India region towards the countries like Dubai, the places where we get the accommodation for these people. And so as many people are getting migrated from one place to another place, the Indian Embassy has brought the new act in 1983, that is the Immigration Act of 1983. Through this Immigration Act of 1983, the Indian government provides assurance for them, for the people those are getting migrated from our country to the other country, by establishing the Indian embassies there, offices there. If there are any issues like in jobs, if you lost a job, you lost your passport, you lost your security issues there, and most of the times the foreign companies betray the people those are working there. They force them to do more work for them and does not pay salaries for them in time. If any such kind of issues are there, we can go and report or register or complaint there and get our some kind of justice for us. It's like a surety for the employees those are staying in the out of the country of India. It will be appointed by the Indian Embassy. The embassy offices are open for all the immigrants. Once you register your name, you will get the security provided for you. And most of the times we have a condition in abroad countries that the companies will take away the passport from them. The employer, like whoever is holding them, will hold them, these people, by taking away the passport, and conditionally they make them to work for long times and all these things. And many of times we get the cases like people getting afraid to give or register a complaint against any company because they have a fear that they may lose their jobs. These all things to be addressed very carefully.